where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandobi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Poleski goes, dives on the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Poleski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the left car and around those at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass. A 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernot. Gernot will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
When it comes to the fervor of race fans, the British certainly hold a very high spot on the list. It's no wonder, then, that the self-proclaimed home of British motorsports has been improved and adapted year in and year out. Silverstone sets an impressively high bar and provides a fantastic show for those hungry fans. We'll see if today brings another feast for the eyes and ears as we get ready to watch round 2 of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Mick Claridge. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Ironically, while Silverstone has hosted the British Grand Prix for most of the years of the F1 World Championship, the Lotus 79 did not race here in the 1978 season. Still, that won't stop us from stepping in closer to examine the ins and outs of today's legendary circuit. Welcome to Silverstone. Most famously known for being the first circuit to host a round of Formula One, this place has since become synonymous with British motorsports. Hosting everything from sports cars to touring cars to open wheels and even motorcycles, it's a track that fits a wide variety of vehicles. With 3 different layouts to choose from, you've got a little something for any level of racing. The longest of those layouts boasts 18 turns along 3.19 miles. That comes out to 5.13 kilometers in metrics, so it can take a bit to get around it, even in higher-powered machinery. Its main characteristics are the high-speed straights and corners and general lack of elevation change. Its most famous set of turns is most definitely the Maggots-Beckett sequence, in which anything with high downforce finds itself challenged with the rapid changes of direction. However, don't discount the first couple corners in this latest iteration of the track. Abbey and Farm often require a greatly balanced car and some serious bravery if you're side by side. Corners such as Village, Brooklyn, Stowe, and Vale see the majority of overtaking action, but in cars with less horsepower, expect the draft to offer other opportunities. The Hangar Straight is perhaps the most notorious for draft battles to erupt. All in all, this versatile racetrack located just northwest of London provides both history in its roots and action on the tarmac. The huge number of British fans that typically attend events are seldom left wanting. You see just some of the impressive buildings and facilities that they've built here recently since they updated the track just about a decade ago at this point. But Mick, you're a little bit closer to this track than I am, so you might have a little bit of a better word about how this thing is for the Lotus 79.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nearer to this place than you, Joe. Yeah, this place is, like you say, it's a legendary track, isn't it? You just got some of the best corners in Formula One on this place. Mixes up the old circuit and the new circuit now with this new layout, and some of the corner names, Cops, Maggots, Beckett's, they really are legendary, and you got a decent straight here to hang a straight. This car is, you're really going to see how fast these cars can go now, especially around these corners like Cops and into the Maggots and Beckett's turnings. I don't know about straight line speed for this car down Hangar Straight. It's going to be interesting again, like last week at Road Atlanta, to see who's running a different ride height for more top speed. It's going to be really interesting. Really looking forward to this one, Joe. It's going to be great.
Well, it certainly seems to be a little bit split again for this one in terms of who's going to go which way of how to set up the car. But let's take a look at the championship real quick since we do have a round in. Gernot Frischa, we finally got a confirmation of how to say his name, 6 points ahead of Steve Bycroft. But, well, I guess it's still the same points for second place no matter how far you finish back. But Steve certainly struggled last week. We'll see if he can rebound here at Silverstone, do a little bit better. Kochi with a nice podium there ahead of San Filippo. And Stefan Schlacker actually finds himself in the top 5. He's going to try and continue that good streak as he has worked hard to see what kind of qualifying he can get today. We'll find out in a second what that is like. Mick, we also have a teams championship that we cover here. What are we looking at there?
Yeah, we got the teams championship going on. Scuderia Ferrari, 39. We got Team Tyrrell, -2 from that. In third place, Ligier Gitans, Wicker Wolf Racing in -5. And in fifth place, Arrows Team Racing there.
So everything's still very tight at the beginning of the season, as you would expect. But let's look at this race itself here that we're getting ready to watch. We are in round 2 out of 12. And interestingly, it's only 20 laps today at this track. It's a relatively long lap, but this might go a little bit quicker than usual. They also have a penalty at 17 incidents. So if you get enough off tracks or have car contacts or spins, you will be sent into the pits for a stop and go. They also have a DQ at 25 incidents, so there's reason to try and keep it clean out there. There are plenty of paved runoffs, so drivers do have to watch out how much they abuse the track limits. As always, we want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel, and we have even more reason to do so this month. We are doing a holiday giveaway. If you subscribe, then you are automatically entered into that giveaway, in which you are 2 people will be randomly chosen to pick any item they want from our merchandise store. If you want to check out that store and see what is for sale there, we've got a link in the YouTube description below. Up at the top, provisionally, it is Matt Wood on the pole, but we're waiting for Frischa to set his first lap time. And I believe he's actually just on his first flying lap right now. So Gernot has got a ways to go before he sets one. And thus far, it's looking relatively swift from both Wood and Bycroft, who have been his main rivals in recent seasons.
Yes, I was just going to say, Joe, it feels like a Silverstone historic weekend, don't it, this weekend? We've had the Lotus 49 racing yesterday. We had the Camel guys racing yesterday as well. Now we've got the Lotus 79. And, yeah, top split, cream of the crop here today, Joe. Just looking at how close the lap times are up the front there. There's only a few tenths in it. Well, there's a couple of tenths that won, half a tenth in between first and second there. It'll be interesting to see when Gernot Frischa comes round.
Yeah, right now, you're not wrong. Wood and Bycroft are incredibly close. What's interesting is the next one down is Marco Sanfilippo, and he's 0.7 of a second behind Bycroft. So it seems like there's a big gap between the haves and have-nots in terms of speed. Watching Frischa come onto the hangar straight as we ride on board now, coming up to Stowe. Good passing spot, but also still a very fast corner, even in this car, as he comes up and around. Just a few more corners to go to complete the lap. I like the way you put that, a historic racing weekend. It really is. I don't think they coordinated on that, the 3 retro series here on iRacing, but it certainly has given us a lot of fun. And as across the line comes Frischa, his first lap is a 1:47.3. That's only good enough for third, though, and that's still 0.4 off of the pole.
Yeah, just wondering if maybe a slight mistake there, or maybe even tyre pressures there come into effect there. Or one guy I'm really looking out for is Sergio Fernandez. I was watching the practice sessions earlier today, and Sergio was really quick. He was right up there, so he's heading onto the hangar straight now. I'm just watching him. We're watching Chris Bauman come across. Let's have a look at his time.
Looks like he did improve to a 48 flat. Stefan Schlacker also getting ready to set his first time. That's a 49.5. That's only good enough for 15th. Might be a little bit harder for him today to try and get up there on the timing sheets.
Don't worry, he'll end up in 5th.
interesting to note that Bycroft did improve. He's still 8/1000ths off of Wood, but you were right about Fernandez. Fernandez set a time on his second lap, and that puts him on pole by 0.3 of a second over Matt Wood. He sets the bar even higher now.
Yeah, like I say, I was watching that guy. In fact, I was watching him in my mirror when I was in the practice session. I thought I better let him pass because he was on a flyer that time as well. So yeah, really on it there.
And Stefan Schlacker seems to have had to abandon his second lap, so he'll stay in 16th at best. We're still waiting for Freesia to come around and finish his second lap. He's coming up to Vale right now as he moves his way through that last chicane. Then you got to get back onto the throttle before the finish line comes up very, very quickly here. Let's see what it is. It's a 46.8. That's a big improvement. Oh, but it stays in fourth. He's 4/1000ths off of Bycroft, which means he is 12/100ths off of Matt Wood. This is going to be tight for second place, but can they do anything about Sergio Fernandez? Trangarade getting ready to finish his second lap just now. 49.2 puts him in 14th, and his second one will not count because he must have had an off track somewhere along the line. That's everybody. That means our grid is set. Let's go through your starting order here for top split today. Sergio Fernandez puts it on the pole with Matt Wood on the outside of that front row. Steve Bycroft will be starting in third. He'll be hoping to probably try and do better than the driver next to him on that row. Gernot Freesia starts fourth. Nicola Cocci will be P5 at the drop of the green with Marco Sanfilippo in sixth position. Julian Fleuret will be seventh, and Chris Baumann managed a nice eighth for himself. Peter Koneski, P9, and then Roman Pawlowski comes out once again for a retro race. Rounds out the top 10.
Pablo Suarez in 11th there, followed by Linus Technow. He's in 12th. Gilles Tao in 13th. Uwe Trengrade, let's see what he can do today, in 14th. You'll see Leo Kata in 15th there. Stefan Slasher in 16th. Let's see if he can slash his way through the grid. Andreas Nielsen 17th. Keith Herner 18th. And Barry West, UK driver, in 19th. Everyone sets a time today.
Good to see everybody at least getting one on the board as we wait for the last couple drivers to grid up. We're going racing for 20 laps here at Silverstone. Out on the newer grid here, lining up on the wing, as they call that new pit building. Obvious reasons if you look at it from a straight-on angle. At this point, Fleuret and Freesia are the last two that we're waiting on. So those two making sure that they've got the right setup on the car, maybe taking a few tweaks if they need it. And the wing, unfortunately, blocking our view of the grid there from the blimp, it seems. So it looks like Julian's going to be the last one to find himself out there, as he is going to be lining up in 7th place. He's running out of time, though. He should probably plop himself on the grid. He wouldn't want to start. There he goes. All right, so the engines should start to rev. The lights will come up. It is round 2 here in the Sunday Grand Prix Series. Green flag is out. Off the line, Fernandez looking decent, but not as good as Matt Wood, who launches up the inside as they come to Abbey. It's going to switch back to the left side, though, as they come through Farm. And he's not going to be able to take the lead away. They get mostly single file behind them. A little bit of a look to the inside from a few cars behind. Oh, and here we go, second place. There goes Gernot Freesia as he's going to go around the outside of Wood.
I wasn't concentrating on the lead out, Joe. I was looking at the back of the grid just to make sure everyone got through. Everyone actually made it through there nice and clean. Everyone's still going.
And it looks like Wood was able to fend off Freesia for second place. He's still taking a poke down into Brooklands. Behind him in 4th place, Bycroft settles in. Nicola Cocci in 5th. Marco Sanfilippo in P6. Mostly single file now as they head out of Luffield.
Yeah, really tough to get the car warmed up now. Remember, cold tyres on this car. It's a bit of a nightmare to drive on cold tyres. So everyone would have been really tentative through those first corners. Down they go now into the... Oh, go on, Joe.
Cops was horrible for Gernot Freesia, and now Steve Bycroft closes up behind him, but he runs out of straightaway before they hit Mackett's and Beckett's. Thought maybe he was going to have a go at it. He could have another chance here up on the hanger straight. Let's see what kind of launch he gets, Mick, onto that long stretch.
Yeah, how's your ride heights, guys? Let's see what these top ends are looking like. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to make a move into the corner there.
Couple drivers just having a little look into there, but otherwise still very much single file into this turn. So everybody playing patient here on the first lap. It is still relatively close, second down through sixth place here. Fernandez has pulled away about by 0.8 of a second, so not a massive gap, but still already showing signs that qualifying pace is going to be matched by race pace.
Just watching Nicola Kochi there through the first two turns there. It was really nice, and then just lost out a bit to Steve Bycroft in front. Steve Bycroft right on the back gearbox of going up now, and just dropped back. I don't know what his revs are like coming out of that corner. You need nice low revs to get out of that corner. I know. Little shout out to Steve Bycroft, put us up in the form today, and I tried that today, and his first gear was sorted for that corner there. So you get a really good exit out of that corner.
So we rode on board there with Kochi. I think we got enough time now that things have calmed down to look at a spin that happened on the first lap. Linus Tech now seems to have found himself turned the wrong way. So where exactly did this happen? He's going with Abbey here. Oh, is it the very first corner? There's those cold tires you're talking about. It is only 83 degrees Fahrenheit on the track surface right now, Mick. So not super cold, but still also not very hot.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, Joe, I'm not sure, but if I can go by the Lotus 49 race or the week we've had, the temperatures have been always the same, and they've all been around that temperature. So I'm pretty sure everyone's used to it by now. But, I mean, we're on lap 2 now, lap 3. Just coming up now. The cars will be warmed up nicely now. And I have to say, when I used Steve Bycroft's set earlier today, I did find the car really comfortable. I mean, this is one of my favourite combinations. I know I'm a Lotus 49 guy, but this 79 round, this layout is absolutely brilliant. You can really hammer the car around here. You can really go for it.
Frisha is certainly hammering the car around here. He set the fastest lap of the race. Back at the back of the field, we had a change for position. Tech now on his climb back through is now taking 18th from Keith Herner. Still not much separating the field. There's only 14 seconds from first to last around this, and that's with 19 cars. So that's kind of impressive on lap 3 that they're so tightly packed. One thing about the weather we did see on screen there is that it was about 12 miles an hour wind speed. So I wonder if that maybe is making the cars shaky in a few corners. Looks like Linus already got another spot as he moves up to 17th.
Just watching the front guys now, they're still in the same spot they were, and it just looks like an even gap between the first sort of 5 or 6 cars now. Yeah, I don't know if that wind's going to play anything down the Hangar Straight in regards to the top speed. It'd be interesting to see later on when the tires, when the fuel drops down and the cars speed up a bit.
So take a look at the battle for third. Frisha still looking to fend off Steve Bycroft. Steve is looking for redemption. After last week, he was quick, but he made mistakes and cost himself a chance at the win. Those two aren't too far back from Matt Wood still, but Wood is keeping them at arm's length. They can't really have any sort of attack at this point. They come into Vale, and Steve Bycroft himself still a little bit too far behind to try and see if he can get himself onto the podium. So these 4 up at the top of the field looking at something of a stalemate. A little bit farther back, the Okada has Stefan Schlacker, who's already gotten himself up to 12th. He wasn't happy with his qualifying from what we heard, and he's trying to make up for that. He's close, but not close enough down into Village.
Yeah, and these two guys are followed by Roman Pawlowski. Roman's, he's just spread himself across the whole series this weekend. He ran the 49 race. He was up there in that. He ran the camel race in the Nissan. He was up there in that, and now he's seeing him there in Lotus 79 chasing down Stefan. Be interesting to see how good Roman does today. Incidentally, you can see Angelica there. That's the name of his mum, who got him the account.
I always wondered about that.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
Someone needs to talk to iRacing and ask them to change that one for him. As we watch from onboard, Leo Cotta looking back at Stefan Schlacker, sandwiched between the other two drivers. They swing it, very unsteady into the corner for Leo Cotta. You can tell that it's going to hurt him off the corner. Schlacker takes a look at it, but he's going to have to go around the outside of this swift left-hander, and he's going to back out of it.
He'd said before the race that he's running quite a low car, and I think he's running quite a low downforce, so he's got a bit of a top end on that car, so it'd be interesting to see now.
Ooh,
dives down, watches that, watches, look at that, straight back now and behind, and I'm just watching Roman now. Roman's having a little look there.
Pavlovsky thought about it.
Yeah, too far back, wasn't he?
Schlacker actually turned in a little early as well, and that covered him off, so they stay in position. Leo Cotta 11th, Schlacker 12th, Pavlovsky in 13th. And all of these mistakes that we're seeing from them is bringing Ove Trangerade, and you know he is not going to sit around for very long if he catches the back of them.
Yeah, he'll be all over this if he can catch the back of these guys. I just watched Stefan just coming out the last corners there. He made a real heavy mistake. Roman's right on him now. He must have been slow through there, and Roman's really on him now where he got in the power. Maybe he's running that low first gear I was talking about.
We got a car off track. That's Julien Fleuret, and a couple following him. Juarez and Bauman also were off. Konecki, wow, something must have happened here. Trying to figure out, was Fleuret? Yeah, Fleuret was the first, and he accidentally parked it right in the racing line when he spun. That's why we had 3 cars have to take avoiding action to get around him. Here's the incident with the Frenchman.
Oh, and then afterwards, Peter connects there. He actually just got on the power too hard. He was coming off the grass. Got it back onto the track, but he must have had his foot hard down there, and he just lost the rear end straight into the barrier.
That'll be our first DNF. Wow. Peter narrowly avoided the incident. Oh, no. Oh, hard into the wall. And he has since taken a tow. There was too much damage on that car. If we come back to Fleuret, he's in a nice little fight for 9th position with Leo Cotta. He's entered the fray with these other 4 that we were watching just earlier. So now a 5-car. Oh, no! And Julien gets into the back of Leo Cotta. That's going to spin him off. Schlacker's going to try to take advantage. He gets a 2-for-1 deal, and that gets him in 9th place. We watch on board Julien. Not sure what happened here. Defensive move from Leo Cotta, so he was already feeling under threat. A little bit slower.
Oh, yeah, it was just a little tap from behind there, wasn't it?
I wasn't expecting Leo Cotta to be so slow through the apex, and I think it caught him off guard. That slowed up Julien. Stefan took advantage. And he's making what is becoming something of a traditional climb here now through the field.
I told you he's in 5th place today, Joe.
You called it. He's still got a few more to go. Real quick, let's check in on our leaders, though. Fernandez has held station about 9/10 over Matt Wood, so he hasn't been able to gap him all that much more. And then behind them, they've still been stuck where they've been sitting. Freesia and Bycroft in 3rd and 4th. They're kind of waiting for a mistake or maybe a little bit of traffic once they catch up to the back of the field.
Yeah, Nicola Coach's dropped off that battle now. He was there at the start, wasn't he? Let's see, he was behind him there. It's Marco Sanfilippo. Just looking at their lap times. And Marco was slightly quicker last lap, so that could be a battle to watch in a few laps' time.
I'll tell you what, that top group has really sprinted away from everybody else. From Sanfilippo back to Suarez, who's in 7th, it's over 7 seconds between them. We're only on lap 6 here. So the top 6 seem to have really hit something both in their racing line and in the setup of the car. They've left the field in the dust.
Just something to note, Joe. I just noticed Sergio Fernandez has got a bit of a bent front wing. I'm not sure what that's going to do to his handling or his speed, but it's not going to do anything good, is it? I don't think.
There's a few very tall sausage curbs. In your time racing here, did you notice that you needed to try and avoid them, or did you really not tell that they do anything to the car?
No, the trouble is with this car, I mean, you can hammer the hell out of them in the Lotus 49, but with this car, you just don't want to bounce it because you don't want the car to go up in the air because it's just got so much power. When you land, you got your foot on the power. It's 9 times out of 10, it's going to lead to a spin. But yeah, I mean, front wing's not going to take much of those curbs, is it? So I'm just looking, yeah. So it is a little bit bent on the front left-hand side there. Doesn't seem to be really doing anything to the lap times though.
Boy, Linus Tech now continues his weaving through the field. He did a brilliant move. Watch around the outside of Aintree on Barry West. Spins up the tires here out of the loop. That sets up Linus. He takes a brave dive and then seals the deal the long way around.
Yeah, that's how you do that, ain't it, Joe?
So this almost brings Linus back to where he qualified, which was 12th place. That gives him 13th. Up next is going to be Ove Trangerade. And from there, it might get a little bit harder for him to continue to step up through the positions. He'll have a little bit to get up to Trangerade at this point. It's about 2 seconds between himself and the P12 car. Whoa, we got more action between Schlacker and Fleuret. Fleuret had a go at him, but he couldn't make it stick.
Yeah, just having little looks down the inside now, aren't they? Oh, Roman Pawlowski right just behind, just smashed off the curb there that time round there. Foot to the floor now down here. Just watching the toe now. Just pulls out, just have a little look. Not going to get anything done here. Oh, but no, I thought he was going to go for it there, Joe. I thought he was going to move. Yeah, he does there. Just another little look, but no, didn't go for it. Let's see how their first gears are.
Oh, here he goes again.
He's gone down for it. Oh, that's a brilliant move. That is an absolute brilliant move.
Steph's not giving up. He's going to try it around the outside. Nearly makes contact. And Julian Fleuret just inches to spare between his wing and the wheel of Stefan Schlacker. But we're seeing what type of racing to expect out of these two for sure. Nobody is giving any quarter.
Yeah, really impressed by that, by both guys there. Both of them nicely out the right hand and now onto the old circuit. Just watching Fleuret now, he's got a nice toe. Stefan's gone defensive here. Could go for a late dive. No, he's not going to do for it. But let's see how
as he comes off of Copse up towards the Maggots Beckett sequence. Can Fleuret withstand the buffeting of the air ahead? He falls back slightly.
Yeah, he had a really nice line though. Really nice line there, Joe. It was really, really quick through the second part of that there.
And he gets a fantastic run off of Chapel. This is going to set him up. He gets the slipstream coming up hanger straight. Another look down to the inside. But he backs out of it. It's going to be harder braking once they get to the chicane at Vale. Will we get another defensive move from Schlacker? No, he comes back to the racing line. All this bobbing and weaving is allowing Pawlowski to stay plugged up right behind them. I keep getting confused. I think he's the paint scheme almost looks like he's in the wrong era and that it's the old Benetton from the 80s.
Yeah, just hasn't got that quite that speed though, has it?
Not quite. And Fleuret took a look around the outside from Village to Loop last time. Schlacker doesn't cover him off, but he's not as close this time, is Fleuret. Looks like, oh, wow, that was a beautiful run out of the loop and Aintree from Stefan Schlacker. Pulls a big gap over the Frenchman, and that will keep him from having any sort of chance coming here into Brooklands. The gap has gone down between our leaders. I wonder if Fernandez made any sort of mistake or if Wood is just suddenly on it.
I just watched last time by. It was Gernot who had the fastest lap of the race. I know the lap times come down as the race goes on, but Gernot's the one on the top there.
And Fernandez did take the 2 bonus points for the pole position today, but there's still 2 more to be won from the fastest lap. That didn't, I believe it was Freesia that took the fastest lap last time, and Bycroft who took the pole at round 1, rather, as they come down into Vale and weaving through there. Yeah, the top 4 are starting to accordion together slightly. We heard last week that some of the drivers talked about the setup coming in later in the race. Wonder if that's what's happening. If maybe Sergio's is either going away or Wood is finding his gaining a little speed.
Yeah, that, and also I'm just watching Gernot as well. I'm just wondering. I mean, he didn't qualify that well. I'm guessing he might be using lower tyre pressures than the guys. Like I say, he's just got the fastest lap, so his setup might be coming in now for later. If he has got lower pressures, expect him to be there at the end of the race. But yeah, Matt's going for it now, isn't he?
He's closing in, yet still as he nearly gets into the rear wing of Sergio Fernandez through Brooklands. He's got this down to 0.2 of a second at times, and poor Stefan Schlacker finds himself off track. This is in the loop. Oh, he had some hard wheel-to-wheel action with Flores. As we take a look at the replay, this starts in Village. They're going to bang wheels, I think, even into here. Oh, wow. Hard hit. Steph tries to collect it, and then I'm not sure if that's damage or he gets on the throttle too hard, but whatever the case, he spins it around.
Yeah, I think it might have been where he got hit. The car, like I was saying about the curbs, the car might have bounced. And if you've got your foot on the power while it's bouncing like that, it is going to spin. It's really tough to control when it's bouncing like that.
Yeah, Pavlowski also went out off and around, and this was in Cops. I think it was also the curbs on this one. Trengere taking good evasive action. He starts to spin just after the apex. Yeah, it looks like he was a little far inside. I saw some dirt get kicked up even there on that shot. So that sends him back to 12th, Schlacker to 15th. But let's focus on the battle for the lead. 4 cars are split by 1.2 seconds. Look at this. Fernandez has got his hands full.
Defensive line now down on the Wellington straight. Matt's going for it round the outside here. Oh, is he going to get his nose? He's going to get this.
He's going to have the inside into Luffield. If he can just get the power down coming off of this long hairpin, he's going to fight for it as Fernandez side by side now as they swing it through Woodcote. And
free wide,
Freisha,
Joe, free wide.
Oh my goodness, for the lead down into Cops. How is this going to turn out? Freisha has the inside, but he doesn't have the momentum that Fernandez does. Fernandez holds on to the lead, but second place now for Gernot, and Matt Wood falls to third.
Unbelievable, Joe. Free wide down there into Cops.
How did they get out the other side of that? I have never seen a 3-wide pass for the lead through that corner before. Just unreal. And Wood's going to lose another position because Bycroft's got to run here. Up the hanger straight. He's going to have the inside. This is into Stowe. Oh, but he's pinched down a little bit by Wood. And Wood carries the momentum well. What a defense.
I was just going to say, just before Steve made the run there, Fernandez is the number 8 car in this split. So how good is that to be holding these guys off?
Yeah, that really says a lot about Fernandez. I know we've seen him race in this series before. I'm trying to remember if he's usually battling for the lead, though. And currently, he's going to get a nice little boost of iRating. He's at about a 4,000, so he's no slouch, but he's up against 8,000 and 6,000 iRating for those around him. Down into the corner, another look. This time, though, from Freisha into Brooklands. Swinging it back through Luffield. Fernandez thankfully single file this time through the corner. And they've switched completely around except for the lead since they were last through this portion of the track. Freisha, though, looking strong on the old pit straight.
I was going to say Freisha was looking really good there, wasn't he, Joe? Looks like he's got a nice top end on that car. Let's just watch him through Maggots and Beckett's now. We're flat out here. It is down one gear here. Then down another gear to third gear, then down to second gear for the last bit. Gernot's a little bit wide there, and yeah, he's lost touch with Fernando there.
Oh, and was that a mistake or a slowdown from Wood? because he just got swamped by Bycroft coming out of Chapel. I think it was maybe a slowdown because it looks like Matt was very, very wide. Actually, no, he did have to save the car. In fact, that was a great catch. If we want an onboard with Matt Wood, the number 2 found himself with his arms all crossed up. Wow.
Oh, that was a save. Yeah, that was a really nice save, wasn't it? Yeah, 2 wheels on the grass there.
Little hairy moment. He's gone from, in 2 laps time, battling for the lead, now down to 4th. This has got to be a little bit frustrating for Wood. Oh, meanwhile, I think there was a little bit of an attempt from Freesia on Fernandez through Village and the loop. It didn't work out. Let's see if he can set himself up on the Wellington straight here, Mick.
Yeah, Fernandez is going to have to go defensive here. He's going to have to... Oh, he doesn't. He stays wide. Let's see what he's like around the outside. He's good on the brakes, though, Fernandez. Gernot's not going to get it this time. Really strong on the brakes there for Fernandez.
You know, I think Sergio learned something from that last attack through that corner from Wood. He knew that he would have the inside. Oh, no. Down around Woodcote. He already covers off, and here comes Freesia around the outside. He's got... Oh, and they come together. He backs out of it. That gives Fernandez the lead back. And he's got another run coming up towards Maggots and Beckett's. He's going to look to the inside, but he backs out of it once more. Things are getting aggressive up at the front. Let's take a look at that one more time. After a little bit of a run here from Freesia, he might have another chance as they come up to Stowe. And no, a little bit too far back. Now we can go to the replay here.
Yeah, I just watched that myself, Joe. That was just a weird chain of events, wasn't it? I just can't work out what happened there.
Watching above, maybe let's give an idea of who drifted into who. You know, Sergio was coming all the way back from across the track. I think he thought it was clear when he wasn't.
But the thing is, he hit Gernot's back wheel. It wasn't like they were side by side. So I don't know. Maybe he was looking at something. I don't know. It could have been anything. Cat went on his lap.
Well, thankfully, they both got away with it. I don't think Freesia's going to take kindly to that move, though. I'm surprised that neither of them spun out of there. As they come up the Wellington straight one more time. The laps are starting to go away now. We're only 7 to go. Fleury's been on his charge back through the field and has got back up to 8th past Chris Bauman. Oh, and Ove Trangarade is off the course. Where is this? This, I think, is out of Abbey.
It's for the turn 1 section.
I think he managed to keep it out of the barrier. Oh, he just goes way wide. And he's grateful for that gravel slowing him down before he gets to the Armco.
He was full on the brakes there before he went onto the gravel. It looked like all 4 wheels were locked up there to stop the car.
So unfortunate for Ove Trangarade. A lot of mistakes out here today. You were talking about how many we were seeing in the warm-up from drivers. This is proving to be a bit tricky.
Yeah, this is the thing, Joe. I mean, I was saying earlier that I think the car's easy to drive here, but I'm not that fast in this car. I hold my hands up. So I don't know how loose they set these cars up. So, you know, once the cars get quick and you set them up loose to get the rear end rotating, you know, it can be a handful. And it's like I say to everyone on the service, you know, I think every single car you drive is a pain to drive when you're on the limit, you know?
Yeah, I guess when you are flirting with the edge, eventually something's got to break. But right now we're up with the top 4. And Fernandez still leads Freesia, still leads Bycroft, who is in front of Wood. But they are only split by 1.5 seconds between them. That really hasn't changed since about almost 10 laps ago, I'd say. That gap between them has stayed consistent, even though it has changed around.
I have to say about Fernandez, I'm just watching his lines compared to Gernot's. He's taking some really wide lines into these corners, really nicely, you know, able to get some speed. This is looking like it's on. Oh,
both of them going wide through Copse.
Yeah, they both missed the apex. I think Sergio gave him room there to let him in, but really, really wide for their going over there, going up from through Begets there.
They come onto the hangar straight. Fernandez looking stronger now. Keeps Freisha behind. Bycroft caught up a lot with both of them making those mistakes. Looks like it's difficult to at least stay within the dirty air of the car ahead in a few portions of this track. They'll get close and then suddenly they have to back off.
Joe, I'm gonna make a call. I don't think this is going to end good. Do you?
If they keep fighting as hard as they have, I feel like at least one of them will find themselves sitting at the side of the track as they come down the front stretch down into Abbey. They do have different setups from what we're hearing. Sergio running a little bit higher downforce than Freisha as he slides it into Village. He's sending it in deep, trying to keep himself covered off from Gernot here. Onto the Wellington straight. Ooh, they're looking a little close now. Freisha takes a tiny peek to the inside. He might run around out of straightaway. Indeed, he does. Down into Brooklands. Late apex is that corner. Still doesn't give him enough of a run. Oh, but he goes way wide down through Luffield. Bycroft instead takes a look to the inside. That doesn't quite work out. Don't need to go to it, but fans of Andreas Nilsson unfortunately had a touch from Keith Herner after he started to lose the car, and he's had to retire. Ooh, and Stefan Schlacker joins the retirees. I think, unfortunately, he's just called it a day. So, as we continue to watch this battle for the lead from onboard Fernandez, the gap currently at about half a second.
Yeah, he's stretched it out a bit, hasn't he, Joe, there on, through the Maggots and Beckett's there, complex, really nicely through there. I think Sergio's got a better setup, to be honest with you. I'm watching Gernot's car. It does look a little bit understeery. I don't know if it's where he's pushing so hard and he's scrubbing the fronts across the track there, but definitely looks like, I'm not sure if he's got any damage. Just have a look at his wings.
Yeah, could be that the contact damaged the suspension a little bit on Freisha's car. Or it could be that the setup starts to go away towards the very end. We're down to 4 to go now. And they've settled down, at least for the moment. Haven't seen quite as many moves from the drivers. They're all staying single file. We'll see how long that lasts, though. Interesting to note that Matt Wood is dropping away. He's about a second back now from Bycroft.
Nice wide line again there from Sergio. I really like that line.
That late apex down through Brooklands.
Yeah, it really helps you out when you're getting onto this straight. But look at the speed Gernot's got against Sergio here.
Yeah, he's very
right
good
on
on the stretch, yeah. Unfortunately, just it doesn't seem to help him enough to try and make a passing maneuver here into Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, and there's the understeer. Look at the understeer from Gernot.
In fact, it's so bad.
So much. Yeah, he's lost so much. So much through there. It's unbelievable.
Bycroft was right underneath him. We couldn't see it from the onboard since we were looking forward. Now we look back and Bycroft falls away. But Steve was just inches away from him heading into that set of S's. As they come around to complete yet another lap. The opportunities are starting to go away. Credit to Steve. He's been holding a lot closer to Gernot all race long, whereas last round he made his error about halfway through and found himself miles away from the Austrian.
I think the move's going to have to happen at the end of the Wellington straight, and Gernot will know this, or it could. And I'm going to look in here now. Sergio's gone defensive. Don't think he really needed to. This is going to set it up, Joe.
Oh, this is brilliant here for Freisha. He knows to move around the outside, and he finds the grip. Sergio Fernandez has no response, but they come onto the Wellington straight. He needs to duck into that slipstream. Now he finally moves onto the racing line, and here comes Bycroft thinking he could get into the mix. but Freesia has it settled. He's got the lead away from Fernandez.
Great move there from Gernot. Nice wide line out now onto the old circuit. Just watching a replay, are we? Yeah, we'll just watch a replay for.
I almost feel like the nail in the coffin here is how shallow into the village corner you're going to see Sergio Fernandez go. Watch how far inside he is. Critical error, and that just slowed him down so much that Freesia pulled the over-under. It's a beautiful effect, and then worked the hard way to try and finish it up. It's not over, though. Fernandez stays within about 3 or 4 tenths behind Freesia, but he's got very few laps to try and return the favor.
Yeah, Freesia was still slow through Maggots and Beckett's there compared to Sergio. It's going to be really interesting to see if Sergio can just stay nice and close through Cops. Watch him now through the new part of the circuit. Foot to the floor. Let's go to Matt Wood.
Matt Wood made a mistake all on his own. This was into Vale. Gonna watch from on board. I think he caught the curb.
Yeah.
Watch the left side here.
He done more than caught it. He nearly took it with him.
He was a little bit too hungry and grabbed the sausage, but the sausage bit him instead.
And Steve spun as well.
Oh, in fact, Steve lost third place with it. Watch him come back on track in a very sloppy fashion here. This is a bit weird, honestly. He's well off track. Finally finds his way where he can get back on there. Well, no, he doesn't. He just...
That's definitely the long way round.
Eventually he's back on, but he's fallen to fourth as we come back to first place. What was 4 cars for most of the race has now come down to 2, but Fernandez is falling away.
Going up with a really wide line again there. And yeah, he's opened the gap up slightly, hasn't he, Joe? Even the difference in the speed now through Maggots and Beckett's not going to help Sergio.
Yeah, he's going to get the white flag this time by, and I'm not sure that Sergio's really got anything unless there's a big mistake from Gernot, especially without the pressure from behind. Wood and Bycroft are nowhere to be seen.
Look at the difference, though, Joe. He got within a few car lengths there.
Up and around the final corner, across the line. Oh, that was a big wobble coming off of club there for Sergio Fernandez. Cost him a little bit more time. Gernot Freesia. Every time we think that he's got a challenge on his hands that he can't handle, the multi-time champion somehow pulls through. He hasn't taken the checkers yet, so this is not over, but amazing that he spent much of this race not in the lead and still managed to get up front. Bycroft loses another position. As we go to the replay here, Kochi's going to get by into fourth. This looks like a mistake in a similar place the last time.
Yeah, just a bit too much power there. It just shows you how easy it is, doesn't it, Joe? People take it for granted that you just run that car around there nice and easy. You just put your foot down a bit too hard and around she's going to go.
No traction control, a whole lot of power, and tiny little wheels on the front of that car with huge ones on the back. Eventually, it's going to go around if you get too greedy. Meanwhile, we watch our leader through Maggots and Beckett's for the final time.
Again, Sergio's so much quicker through there, but he's run wide.
Yeah, and Freesia down the hanger straight has got a whole second now over Fernandez. Through he goes on the Stowe corner, down through Vale. All he has to do is be smooth off these last few turns, and he's got win number 2 out of 2 races. Nice and easy on the throttle. Freesia takes the win here at Silverstone. Fernandez with second place, and Wood does recover to third. He was helped a little bit by others' misfortune, but only the bottom step of the podium for Matt. Kochi up to 4th with Bycroft's falling to 5th late in the race. Remember, we talked about the gap to the rest of the field. Sanfilippo 12 seconds ahead of Suarez after that.
Just watching P12 battle now. Gilles Towles against Barry West here. Barry's going to have to go defensive. Gilles go around the outside. I think he's going to be able to do it though. Oh, he's got a good. Oh no, he just went a bit too hot around the middle there.
I thought he was going to have it.
Yeah, he looked like it for a second.
Yeah.
Barry with a great bit of defensive driving. The number 15 getting a 12th place finish. And interesting to note, Freesia took the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. So another couple bonus points. It'll be 58 points both times by my calculations in the 2 rounds as Keith Turner comes around to be the last car to finish here today. So that'll take us to a quick break. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. Stick around because on screen you'll see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. Welcome back to Silverstone. We just watched round 2 in the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix series, and it was Gernot Freesia who took away the win, but he started it in 4th. So a lack of qualifying pace certainly didn't hurt him in the race itself. Sergio Fernandez, who did put it on pole, tried to fend him off as long as he could, but just didn't have the pace compared to the Austrian. Still a nice 2nd place for Fernandez. Will earn him a lot of iRating today. Matt Wood rounds out the podium, but having started on the front row, I imagine he might be a little disappointed with that one. Nicola Kochi with a 4th for him, and Steve Bycroft's late race mistakes, unusual mistakes for Steve, cost him the podium himself. He finishes 5th. Marco Sanfilippo with a 6th place finds himself a long ways away from anybody behind him. Pablo Suarez 7th from 11th on the grid, so a nice climb up there for the number 16. Julian Fleuret finishes 8th with Chris Baumann in 9th, and then Linus Technow, who found himself spinning the very first corner, climbs back up to 10th.
Yeah, Roman Pawlowski, he was down in 11th now. I think he'll be happy with that. It would have been nice for him to jump into that Fleuret battle. Barry West in 12th. Gilles Taus very close with him in 13th. Uwe Trengrade in 14th there. Gilles Leo Kata in 15th. Keith Hurler, didn't see much of him today in 16th. Poor Stefan had a bit of a bad race there in 17th now. And Andreas Nielsen in 18th. And Pierre Kuznetsi stuffed it in the wall, didn't he, Joe? God, I forgot. Yeah, 19th.
Yeah, it was a bad day for him. A little bit not of his own doing, though. So,
yeah,
Peter probably not happy about that result. But we've got our winner, Gernot Friesche, with us. Gernot, the battle between you and Sergio actually came to blows at one point this time. Talk to us a little bit about that race, because that was certainly thrilling to watch from our perspective.
Yeah, not only from your perspective, also from mine. Was a real nail biter, and yeah, I was lucky lap 13 when I touched wheels with Sergio, because yeah, that was really close to a huge crash. So we were both lucky there.
And then a few other times, you two certainly having some side-by-side racing. When you set up the pass that eventually gave the lead down into Village in the loop, did you kind of know that would work out, pulling the over-under move?
No, but I saw that Sergio had made a small mistake, and I tried it. I still thought that he might get better out of the last corner, but yeah, actually, I ended up having really good pace out on the straight, and that's why I did the pass there.
Yeah, I know we talk about this a lot, but it seemed like a slight difference in setup between you and him. Do you feel like you had a little bit lower downforce?
That's hard to say. I think top speed was quite comparable. On the other hand, in every single race that week, I seem to be a little bit quicker in certain corners and slower in others. So I'm sure there were differences in setup, but yeah, in the end, that made racing really interesting. And Sergio had incredible pace today, so did Matt and Steve. So it was an exciting race.
Oh, definitely exciting. We loved getting to watch you and Sergio go wheel to wheel out there. So congratulations. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Always thank you guys for doing great broadcasts.